All right, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. We've made it to the end of the week and we have made it to Pass Rush Friday. And unlike last week, we actually have all the data in time. I figured out how to look at the advanced defensive stats on Pro Football Reference by game. So it's actually going to be even a little bit better now. But bottom line is we should have no problem getting the data out there in time to make this video every week going forward. So let's talk a little bit about the pass rush, which, as you guys know, was quite good on Sunday against the Steelers. I don't think I need to put out numbers to make that relatively clear. I think we all kind of picked up on that from watching that game. Although I wouldn't necessarily call it dominant. A lot of these pressures are still long developing. A lot of these pressures are still taking such a amount of time that the opposing team still has the opportunity to run their offense. So it's not yet a dominant pass rush, I don't think, but it is a very good one. And the thing to really kind of emphasize right now is they are not blitzing at all. So once they start blitzing, you will probably see more quick pressures. Now, you might also see some breakdowns because of the blitzes, but that's a trade-off you can live with from time to time. And that should open up the quick pressures that actually create big negative plays and turnovers. So, what I can say about the pass rush this week is that it was very good. It was also kind of boring in the sense that it came from the typical locations. And you'll see what I mean as we get into this video here. But we start with the defensive line, and you're not going to lose a lot of games. You're not going to have bad defensive days when you're getting 5 pressures from a guy who's basically playing nose tackle. Byron Murphy, 5 pressures from PFR. This is not PFF. This is PFR. They gave him 5 pressures. They are very hard to impress, and he is impressing them right now. My goodness. 5 pressures from Byron Murphy in one game, and then you also had the 2 from Leonard Williams, and then you had 1 from Jarran Reed. If we can get 8 pressures in a game from the down linemen, because really right now we're talking about 3 guys, that's hard to beat. That is hard to beat. And it doesn't even really feel like Leonard Williams is playing at his peak level. It feels like there's more that he's going to be doing as the season goes on. So this should just be getting better and better. But we've got something special on our hands potentially with Murphy beyond what I was thinking when we drafted him. I can admit that. I knew he was going to be good. I knew he was going to have a good pressure rate, but we're playing him out of position, and he's putting up 5 pressures in a game. That's wild. So big shout out to the defensive line here. But then you get past that. You've got the linebackers, the off-ball linebackers. Nothing here. Nothing here this week. None of them got any pressure. Again, I don't think it makes a lot of sense to send off-ball linebackers on the blitz a lot against Aaron Rodgers because he's seen everything. So it makes sense why you wouldn't get any pressures from those guys in a game. The edge rushers, however, we get back to what we want, right? Uchenna Nwosu in very limited snaps got a pressure. We had DeMarcus Lawrence, who's mostly here to stuff the run. He got a pressure. So he's actually off to a pretty good start this year, despite not even really being here to get pressure. You've got Boye Mafe with 2, and then, of course, the big one, Derek Hall, with 4. So from this edge rusher group, which isn't even at full power yet, we have 8 pressures. So you can see how this stuff really adds up. Before I go any further, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football this year, you are missing out on some great opportunities. Take a look on the left side of your screen right now. Look at all these great things you can do over there at any time you want to. Make all kinds of over-under picks. Let's take a look at my entry for this week. I got Bijan and Saquon scoring anytime touchdowns. I think both those guys are going to get in the end zone and help lead their team to big victories. I got Pat Mahomes going over 29.5 rushing yards. He's going to need to run the ball a lot because of the way that Chiefs offense is right now. And I got JSN going over 68.5 receiving yards. Got to keep going the over on JSN until he gives us a reason not to. You get on over to Sleeper, use my promo code SBN. You can get a $100 match on your first deposit, Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Opening up operations in Washington State in October. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, welcome back. So this is kind of the formula that we've been talking about, right? We don't have a superstar edge rusher right now. We don't. We've got 4 guys that can all do their job and all can fill their role, but none of these guys are superstars. So getting meaningful pressure production from all 4 is key. And through 2 games, that has absolutely been the case. And Derek Hall in particular, I know the numbers are not there yet. I know he hasn't gotten a sack yet. I know that's frustrating. But there's something going on here, because if you look at the advanced numbers, like beyond just this, he's getting doubled a lot. Teams are terrified of him on outside pressure on passing downs. And Derek Hall is still finding a way to get pressure. So I've gotten a little bit critical of Derek Hall because of his run defense, but as a pass rusher, there's something going on here. And despite Mafe getting off to a nominally slow start with 0 sacks, you can see that he's still getting pressure. Remember, we're talking about PFR here. Like, all of these guys, with the exception of Nwosu, of course, and Nwosu, he didn't even play the first game, they're on pace to meet my expectations for the season in terms of pressure. The hope, and no doubt the plan, is that as the season goes on, the pressure will turn into sacks. The process is good. Results are going to come if the process remains good. But that's actually kind of basically the end of our show here, because we got no pressures from corners and no pressures from safeties. Again, you're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and Pittsburgh never really got into like really, really bad down and distance situations. So there aren't that many opportunities to send the big blitzes. I'm thinking about like last year when we played the Jets, and on the final defensive play of the game, the 4th down, where the Jets just kind of had to go for a big play, we did send a big blitz at Aaron Rodgers, but those are kind of the extreme circumstances where it might make some sense to do it. In this game, not very many opportunities to send the house, so we never really did. Not to say we didn't do anything fun, but we kept it relatively close to the vest. So 16 pressures. And I understand that some of these pressures, I'd say even maybe a decent chunk of these pressures are softer pressures. We're not seeing the quick pressures the way we would like necessarily, but 31 pressures from PFR in 2 games is very good. If we keep this up throughout 17 games, and I'm sure there will be bad games down the line, you're not going to have complete pass rush dominance in every single game you play. You're just not. It's hard to imagine any other team out there having a better pass rush than the Seahawks. And that's without the superstar edge. So far, so good, man. So far, so good from this collection of guys. And it's really just about everybody. I think everybody is either surpassing or living up to expectations. At least the main guys, right? Maybe you could say, oh, well, we're not seeing anything from Tyrese Knight yet. Whatever. That doesn't matter that much. Tyrese Knight is not going to do a ton of pass rushing in general. It's a very minor thing. And Nwosu missed the first game and barely played in the second, so we gotta give that some time. Okay, so that is it for Pass Rush Friday. Let me know what you think. This is this is the formula, and so far so good. So remember, it's not like we had a huge lead that whole game and Pittsburgh could do nothing but drop back to throw. They had a balanced offense for the most part. All right, see you later. Go Hawks.